Welcome back to Face the State. I'm Arianna Bennett. Thank you for keeping it here. Well, it's not a statistic we're happy to see, but Nevada ranks near the top of the nation when it comes to domestic violence. And on the front lines, when survivors need a place to turn, is my guest for this segment. So Kristen Kennedy with the Domestic Violence Resource Center is here with me to talk about that. Kristen, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you being here. You operate so many different things to help in this area, but maybe the first line of defense here is the hotline, 24/7, that people can call when they need help. Do you get a lot of calls?
Oh yeah, we do. We get calls all weekend, throughout the day, all day. I think, let's see, last year we had over 1,700 hotline calls. Yeah.
Wow. And do the people calling all need the same type of intervention, or is it a huge range?
It's a broad range. Some people are looking for emergency shelter, and others might be just wanting information on how do I apply for a protection order. Some people just want to call and talk about the situation because they don't truly know whether they're in a domestic violence situation and just want to talk. And so we're there. We during the day, Monday through Friday, it's staffed by Domestic Violence Resource Center advocates. On the weekends and evenings, we have volunteers who actually man the hotline for us.
Wow. So then, just out of curiosity, if people ask you, does this count? Like, is this domestic violence? What is the definition? What can you give these people so they know what they're dealing with?
Right. So commonly we think that domestic violence is the physical harm, the physical abuse, but there are so many other factors or elements around it. So we see financial abuse. We see that mental and emotional manipulation, intimidation, sexual abuse, reproductive coercion. I mean, there's just so many layers to domestic violence, but really at the end of the day, it's about abusive behavior that is a pattern of power and control that somebody perpetrates against another person and within their family.
Can you imagine a lot of people are dealing with that and don't realize that that's what that is?
Yeah.
Or just, they grew up with it or
Right,
what
exactly.
have you. So have you seen the need for the services you provide grow, change over the last, however long?
Yeah, we definitely have. Nevada ranks second in the nation for incidents of domestic violence, and a lot of people will say, oh, well, that number's skewed by Las Vegas, but really that's not the case. We have a critical issue here in Washoe County. Our organization has seen our clients, an increase in our clients served of 22% year over year for the past 3 years. And in 2024, the Washoe County Sheriff's Office had all of these successes that they were just touting recently about bringing down or cracking down on DUIs and burglaries, but the one area that they really couldn't make a dent in was aggravated assault. It was up 15%, and they attributed that primarily to domestic violence. So.
Why Nevada? What is it that's happening here that isn't happening in other places?
Yeah, well, I think it's hard to pinpoint like one exact thing. I do feel that there with the housing, the cost of housing and inflation in our state, and just the financial stressors that people have in the home, that's a factor. I think that Nevada is a somewhat transient state, and so we have the I-80 corridor that runs through our state, and we see a lot of incidents of people experiencing domestic violence that might be already in a rough situation, and so they come to us because they don't have resources. So, I think that there is a lot that's to that, and it's hard to say exactly what the one thing is. We hope too that maybe the increase in numbers is that people are more educated and more aware, and they know what resources are out there, and they know who to call, and so maybe that's part of why we're seeing an increase as well.
Well, that would be positive.
Yeah.
They're feeling a little bit more empowered to make a change. That let's hope that would be a good thing. Okay, so then when they call you, what do they most need?
Well, our number one reason for, or our number one need is emergency shelter, really. But we see a full array of things. So sometimes people need some basic provisions, like they are leaving a situation and they just got out and they don't have food or hygiene items, diapers, clothing, so we provide those things. And sometimes people, need that legal assistance, and so they come to us to help fill out a protection order and kind of get some guidance on how to navigate the court system. So it really is just a lot of different things.
Okay, now unfortunately the need for your services, like you said, 22% year over year for 3 years. You're now at capacity and in need of expansion?
Yeah. So our shelter is normally like 90 to 95% of the time it's full. And last year alone, we had to place over 400 people in motels. And, we have really felt this growing demand in our organization for years now. And we partnered with the University of Nevada Center for Regional Studies to do a little bit of research. And what emerged from that was that there, in the Western United States, there are typically about 15 domestic violence shelter beds per 100,000 people. And so that would put Reno needing about 75 beds, and we have 35 in our community. So not only have we felt it, but now we have the research behind, our, just the growth that we've seen to really drive our need for expansion.
Okay, so now this expansion is planned. You are launching a fundraising effort for it. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so what we're doing is our goal is to bring our shelter and our wraparound services together under one roof, and also to expand the number of beds that we have available, as well as enhance the services that we offer. So this will be a place where people can come to our facility and get all of the wraparound services they need, plus the emergency shelter. And it's just a better way to deliver services when they're more holistic, when the advocate that did the intake with an individual can then speak to the advocate who's doing the goal planning in the shelter on a more regular basis. It's just a better way to deliver domestic violence services in a more survivor-centered and trauma-informed way. So really the idea is to create a building that in itself is part of the healing as well, and trauma-informed, so that when somebody comes through our doors, they feel like they are safe, that they finally can let their guard down maybe a little bit, and feel that they can get what they need and that there's hope for the future. So all of our services, we'll continue to deliver all of our services as we do now in this new facility, but we're going to be adding some additional services, such as we will have a medical office in the new building. We will have, all of our rooms will be private with private bathrooms. So right now in our shelter, people have to share rooms and share bathrooms, and you can imagine when you're going through trauma, how that, how hard that would be to not have your own space. So a lot of privacy, a lot more services. We'll have a counseling center, and we'll have space as well for other organizations to come in and provide their services for our clients. So the goal there is that the more collaboration and community involvement we can have in addressing this issue of domestic violence, the more success we'll have in breaking the cycle of abuse.
Okay, so just a couple minutes left. I want to make sure we get this in there. $25 million is the need?
Yes.
How far into that are you?
Yeah,
so is it just beginning now? Or?
No, we have about $16.5 million.
Ooh, okay,
yes.
That's awesome. All right,
yeah.
More than halfway there.
Yeah.
So you still need more. So what is your ask?
Yeah, so we're just asking the community to help us out. I mean, we just launched the public phase of this capital campaign, and I think that we've made a lot of great progress so far. So we're well on our way, but we do need additional support. We need to get to that 25 million so we can make this happen for our community. And so we're just now going out to the community saying, hey, let's do this together. Let's provide this vital resource for our community where domestic violence is the second highest reported crime.
Yeah. Okay. So if they want to help, how can they do that?
Well, they can definitely give us a call at 775-329-1450, or they can visit InsideTheseDoors.org, where they can learn all about the campaign, and there's the link to the giving site, and they can pledge their support.
All right, all things going well. When are you hoping to break ground? When are you hoping to open?
Yeah, so we're actually moving out of our building after Memorial Weekend. We'll be operating at 1301 Cordone Avenue, just down the street from where we are now. And we are hoping to break ground. We'll do asbestos abatement, unfortunately, and demo this summer, and then break ground in late September, early October.
Okay, and then hopefully be done.
Yeah, maybe 2 years, summer of 2027.
All right. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, Kristen. Thank you so much for your
you.
time. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, now along with all the local resources we just talked about, obviously you can reach out to any of these local branches for help, but we do want to give you a reminder that if you or someone you know is experiencing violence at home, you can call this number 24/7. It is the National Domestic Violence Hotline, the number there on your screen. That is it for this episode of Face the State, but for more information or to see past episodes, head to 2news.com. We'll see you next week.